All right, so let's talk about the data reality, right? And how we actually train the system. Because the truth of the matter is, AI didn't learn in a vacuum, it learned from human behavior at scale. That means billions of users, trillions of interactions, decades of digital behavior. AI didn't just wake up and become intelligent, it was trained, but not in a lab like the way that people may think. It was trained through scale. There were billions of people, trillions of interactions over decades. Every digital interaction became part of the data set. Not one person, not one company, but human behavior at a scale. Let's bring it down to your daily life. When you search Google, you're not just getting results, you're signaling what you're curious about, what you're trying to solve, and what you're interested in. When you use Gmail, you're teaching systems. You're teaching them how people communicate, how conversations flow, how language is structured. When you shop on Amazon, you're actually showing how people decide what influences purchases, what patterns lead to buying. When you use GPS, you're mapping behaviors. You're telling the system where people go, when they go, how they move. None of this feels like AI, but all of it feeds AI. So what about the free models, the free everything that we started getting? Free email, free search, free social media, free apps. Now let's talk about the model behind all of this. None of this was just random. Company offered us tools for free because they wanted to be able to acquire the data that they needed in order to fuel the AI system. Think about the cloud. Think about all of the files that we are uploading. We're giving information. I remember one of my first corporate jobs, my manager would always advise me whenever creating a multi-factor authentication, which back in the day it was manual and now today it's digital. But he would always say, don't ever give your mother's maiden name or any data points about your father because they're collecting information. And I didn't understand it back then, but I understand it now. So companies offered us powerful tools for free: free email, free search, free social media. And the question is why? Why? Because your data has value. So the model became, you use the platform, your behavior is captured, that data is analyzed, ads are triggered or targeted, revenue is generated, and systems improve. Okay? And then that cycle repeats. So here's the part people miss: the same data systems that power ads also became the foundation for AI. So, in essence, you trained the predictive systems before AI was popular. Before ChatGPT, you were already interacting with AI. Autocomplete finishing your sentences, predictive text on your phone, recommended videos on YouTube, suggested products on Amazon. That's all AI. Not the same form that we see today, but the same concept: pattern recognition plus prediction. So this is not new behavior, it's an evolution of something you've already been using. And so, in essence, you help teach AI how to think like you. AI sounds human because it learned from humans. It learned from how we write, how we argue, explain, joke, sell, teach. Every blog post, every forum conversation, every email thread became training material. That's why it feels familiar. It's not inventing something new, it's reflecting us back at scale. So you're not just a user, you're part of how the system was built. Now, let me help this land, okay? I want you to understand that each of us, we're not just users of AI. We're a part of how it was built. So in essence, we may be co-parents, co-founders, co-creators of AI. Without human behavior at scale, it would never exist. Instead of thinking, I'm not a part of this, or I'm afraid of this, or AI is going to take over my job, or AI is going to do. No. I want you to know and understand that you have been a part of this creation since the beginning of its evolution. And with that being so, it can never conquer you. But if you learn how to use it appropriately, then it will be very beneficial. I leverage AI as a thought partner, and I refuse to be shamed about using a system that was created to bridge the gap and the lack of information share, knowledge share in our communities. AI is a very resourceful tool that we can use. Some people may call it surveillance capitalism, others may call it data economy, and some may even call it innovation. Different names, same reality. At the end of the day, it's human behavior. And human behavior becomes fuel for AI systems.